on top of the number 66. The Phillips 66 car will be Chuck Bound. Our roof cam operating on that machine today.
And Lake Speed was relieved of driving that car this week, and Chuck Bound has taken over. It's been announced that Jeff Gordon, I think, will drive that car next year.
It's a .625 mile oval here in North Wilkesboro. The pole speed was 116.8. The time 19.252 seconds. We'll go 400 laps, and the field is separated by a little over 6/10 of a second. 400 laps of competition here today, and it is indeed a historic making race because Harry Gant can win his 5th consecutive event here this afternoon. He starts from the pole, and we're about to go green at North Wilkesboro. The race is on. The 66 car, driven by Chuck Bound, being lapped now by Harry Gant.
From Artic, Pontiac, Cale Yarborough Motorsports.
4 laps away from the halfway point. Call now to winner the ESPN Pick the Winning Chevy Sweepstakes. Call 1-900-933-9300 before the 200-lap mark. If your entry is selected and you have given the correct Chevy winner, you could win a new Chevy Lumina Z34. Stay tuned to see which Chevy finishes first in the Tyson Holly Farms 400.
The roof cam from Chuck Bound's Phillips 66 Pontiac watches Harry Gant ride by. There goes Joe Ruttman by.
And John Kernan has the report on Chuck Bound.
Well, it's been an up and down weekend for Chuck Bound. On Thursday, Cale Yarborough called him and asked him if he would drive his race car this weekend at North Wilkesboro, a one-shot deal. Chuck said, yeah, I'd love to, because the defending Busch Grand National champion would really like to one day wind up running in Winston Cup. The downside, he said the car, they just couldn't get it figured out for this racetrack. He doesn't have a lot of experience here at North Wilkesboro. He said his main goal today, stay out of everyone's way, getting some seat time here at this track in a Winston Cup car.
Chuck given that seat, of course, after it was offered to, but then rejected by Jeff Gordon, as they decided that Jeff would concentrate on winning the Grand National Rookie of the Year standings.
Further back, row 8, Tommy Houston, Michael Waltrip there. Row 9, Bill Elliott. You're going to see a lot more of him in Grand National next year. And old Golden Shoes himself, Mike McLaughlin. In row 10, it's Ed Barrier and Phil Parsons with the qualifying run. Row 11 is Ken Schrader and Cecil Eunice. Going to row number 12, Jeff Gordon there in a Ford, and Bobby Labonte. Watch that point battle with him today as he goes against Wallace. Row 13, Jimmy Hensley and Alabama's pride, Steve Grissom. Now you're up there riding in that Penrose car that's settling down to give you some great racing pictures throughout the event. One more run down pit road. 4 Fords, 10 Buicks, 13 Oldsmobiles, 6 Pontiacs, and 9 Chevrolets make the field.
Yeah, you know, the Fords are really picking up. You know, in Busch racing, we haven't seen them perform like they normally have, but the V6 program has really picked up. The Fords are getting very competitive with the Buicks and Chevrolets.
Today, to decide the Grand National Championship. Ooh. Hard move to the outside by Mount Clemens right. 1 car's in the wall, Morgan Shepherd, and 4 cars are spinning behind him. 5 collect the field. It looks like Daytona back in February. Harry Gant is threading his way through from his 33rd starting position. He's won the last 2 Grand National racing. And it looks like Earnhardt may have collected part of that.
Sometimes, Ken, the aerodynamics are so important here. You get a car on the outside and it takes the air off the inside car and they get loose.
It looked like going down in the corner, Ken, it looked like Morgan Shepherd's car dumped oil as he went off in the 3rd turn. And when he got in there, it looked like a lot of cars got in the oil also and turned around.
And it looks like Hut Strickland's car is one of the machines still down there. We'll be back to take a look at the results of this calamity in lap number 2 in just a moment here in the All-Pro Auto Park. Let's take a look at what happened to a member of the Alabama gang by another member of the Alabama gang. In Strickland's car, here's Neil.
Ken, here we are going in 3. See him hold his hand up. He sees the trouble in front of him. He's trying to get slowed down, but you start stacking up. He bumped into the car. He goes down off in the apron. There's the 1 car spinning in front of him, and all of a sudden a yellow car, we couldn't see which one, came by and took the whole front off the car.
From another angle, Oil has been laid down by that black and red car of Morgan Shepherd, and it turns 3 and 4 into a calamity corner, big time out there.
There's the 85 car came by and took the front off the 92, which we saw the in-car shot. But with those cars stacked up like that, it could have been a lot worse. It's bad enough that we've missed.
This track, talking to the drivers, they say it changes more than any track they race. One cloud comes over and it might tighten up or loosen. Let's go down to Randy Pemberton in the pits.
I'm in Bill Elliott's pit, and he was in that one altercation. They're taking a string to the wheels, and what they're trying to do is set the toe in on the automobile. You can see the damage on the left front. They've already bent to the right side. They're in there with some wrenches trying to set the toe in. That is to straighten the wheels out so Bill Elliott can get through the corners for nearly 300 more miles here this afternoon.
There's Cecil Eunice, who's made it back on the track. Point standing battle in Grand Nationals, just as intense as in any other division.
Cecil's been running for Rookie of the Year this year, and he's kind of, it's gone ahead with just Jeff Gordon and David Green. Cecil hasn't been able to run all the races, but he was hoping to make a good showing here.
You saw Jeff Gordon collected in that incident. He has been able to continue. 24 of 200 laps are complete. We're into the third caution period of the day, and let's take a look at the incident which had the yellow flag here just moments ago. There you see Phil Parsons getting turned sideways with Dale Earnhardt right behind him, and then watch the results. Neil?
As they got together, it shoved the 6 car up there, Tommy Houston, up in the wall. Then they started stacking up again behind them. A couple of cars almost got stuck in the grass and couldn't get going again. And here's an inside the car shot. Big smoke screen. This is what's bad. Right there is what you see sitting in that seat. Smoke, you don't have any idea what's on the other side of it. And here we are with Labonte going round and round. And this one got the entire back end knocked off his car.
Came in here leading by 7 points in the championship battle. And his nemesis, Kenny Wallace, is still out there as he tries to thread his way down through. Nemechek spinning just in front of him. Of course, he's running backwards at that point. He's traveling backwards down out of turn number 4. Now, the latest word we have is that the number 3, Earnhardt, has been parked for rough driving. Let's get more on that from Randy Pemberton.
It was an unbelievable scene here during the break. NASCAR officials were communicating to the entire pit crew here in Dale Earnhardt's pit. What they told them is it was rough driving, making contact with Phil Parsons. They are cleaning this pit out. They are gathering now in the garage area. We'll go in the garage and try to get further word with Dale Earnhardt, but for the time being, he is out of this event.
So Earnhardt set down for rough riding on Phil Parsons in turn number 4. When's the last time you saw a call like that, folks?
They're starting to get a lot stricter on what happens on these racetracks. The penalty box and everything is involved with it.
Randy Pemberton.
I'm standing here with Dale Earnhardt. Dale, what happened out there? Why are you in the garage area?
Did you see the replay?
I did not see it.
I haven't seen it. I know I didn't touch Phil until we got all spun around and we hit to get in, but Robert Black says to spun him out, so he put me out of the race. Pretty unfair, I think.
Who made the call to put you in the garage area? Do you know?
I reckon Robert Black. That's the one's calling the race. I don't know. I'm not up there.
Okay, Dale will be back tomorrow on the Winston Cup race.
Cautions again out. It's number 5. That's the 5th caution of the day. Caution is down. We've got more debris on the speedway. And as that caution came, Jeff Gordon in the number 1 car, the Ford, had pulled on the pit road. He started to come back out again. I don't think he wanted to go down a lap. So he came in, and when he realized the caution was thrown, he started to make his way back on the pit road, and for the moment he's being held out there.
All torn up. Jeff Gordon. Seems when one rookie has trouble, David Green's in the wall. Jeff Gordon is smoking. Jack Ingram, you've watched this race for 18 years from out the windshield, but how does it look here in the monitor to you?
Well, this really looks rough. I didn't realize that sitting here inside this thing and seeing all this on this monitor, that's almost unbelievable. I really don't see races of Charlotte that I was in it had this many crashes. It could have been, but I can't remember this.
But it looks all pretty calm and collected from where you've sat.
Well, yeah, it's just happening. Races are that way sometimes, but I hadn't saw a Busch race here that was these many crashes this early on.
They have torn them up here in the early going, and we're not even to halfway when we'll take a break.
Deeper into this Big A Mid-race report, out of the race, Morgan Shepherd on the very first lap. Hut Strickland right after that. Dennis Setzer, who had such high hopes. Jack Sprague, who had qualified so well up on the outside of the front row. Dale Earnhardt, if you just joined us, thrown out of the race. They said that he was rough riding when he hit Phil Parsons, so he was sent to the showers. Davey Allison's car retired, and there's more to this list. Bob Dotter, the Chicago campaigner, is out. Ed Barrier's number 33, no longer in the race. And that Carolina Ford car, number 1, Jeff Burton, has gone away.
But during times like these, I hate it, and I wish I had chosen another sport to devote my life to. On the second lap of a USAC midget feature last Saturday night in El Cajon, California, a young lady that many of us had come to know and love, Cara Hendrick, suffered fatal head injuries when her car's throttle stuck and it flipped several times. Dave Despain has some reflections on the short career of one of the nation's most promising female drivers.
Well, I was trying to pass Robbie and Keith, and we all got behind, and I don't know if I got the flat tire afterwards or when I spun, but the MP vacuum car was doing great, and I want to really thank Dave for giving me the chance to drive it.
Like most women in motorsports, California TQ, midget, and Formula 2000 driver Cara Hendrick preferred the description racer to that of woman racer. Just turned 22, with more than 100 races under her belt, Cara had long since served notice that her talent was real. Like thousands of other young drivers, she was chasing the dream. She drove to gain experience and sought the best ride. She honed her skills and tested her courage, and all she ever asked of her sport was an equal chance. Many in this society cling to their female stereotypes. Those who resist the idea of women in combat must cringe at the news that a woman has died in a race car. But through the visor of her helmet, Cara Hendrick did not see that distinction. Racers were racers. And in her last race, she broke the track record. She battled her male counterparts toe-to-toe. Cara Hendrick neither wanted nor needed special gender consideration. And so in death, we remember her just as she would have wanted. Cara Hendrick was a racer, and a good one at that.
And Cara's parents are here this evening, and they have started the Cara Hendrick Memorial Scholarship Fund. There is the address in Chino, California. They hope to have up to 20 $1,000 college scholarships for those involved in motorsports. And I don't have a sister or a daughter, but if I had one, I'd like her to be like Cara Hendrick.
Jeff Gordon, as the field will come around to the caution flag. 1-7-3-3-1 from Phil Parsons' car.
That's about as close as you can get to a shot of what happened.
I tell you one thing, he was lucky there. Woo. Well, that's a little bit after, but I tell you, it looked like a tire went down or something because he just veered hard right and straight into the wall.
So both rookies wide open. Oh, Tracy Leslie gets into Jim Bound.
Yeah.
And now we get to see Kenny Schrader.
Kenny Schrader did a great job, I'll tell you.
Yeah, Schrader in 15. Well, that was that part.
There he is coming down the inside.
I'm going to ask him how he does that. I teach driving here, and I hadn't found out how to spin like that down here and not hit anything.
Hal Needham must have taught him.
You can only change 2 tires under a caution. Starting on the outside of the front row next to Labonte is Mike Oliver out of Gunnersville, Alabama. We haven't talked much about him. Mike has only run 9 of these events so far this year and has not finished in the top 5. But I'll tell you what, he's a fine young driver. And green flag falls. Populated with really, really fine guys. Just a great bunch of people. Well, there is number 8, David Green. We
We've talked about him before. He's back and forth. Now, when the race is over, he won't necessarily know if he's the rookie of the year. Maybe somebody else is. That's done with points and a vote and a kind of a complicated formula. It'll probably be banquet time before he knows. Here's Bobby Labonte into the pits. They're not going to touch the tires, apparently. It's backing up, but that's about it. We see some fuel going in and a little suspension adjustment, put a little wedge into it, it looked like, Rod.
Yeah. But there you can see the lag of one of the mechanics under the rear of the car. They're working on the right rear spring, Steve. There's some spacer adjustments that they can make on that.
Observing the pit speed limit is Harry Gant. He'll have to merge into traffic, and going by before he can get out will be, yes, right there, the red 63 car. Chuck Bown is now the leader with Harry Gant in the second place. We'll be back with more from Martinsville right after this. Stay with us. Could be a good fight between two veterans. Busch Grand National race, the final race of the season here at Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. I'm Steve Evans along with Rob Yates, Mike Troy in the pit, and there is Harry Gant in the 7 car. Just behind him, Chuck Bown, Dale Jarrett, and Steve Grissom. The only 4 cars on the lead lap are lined up inside, and there the green waves.
There they are, the 3 cars.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good stuff. There's the 27 car Ward Burton, 44 Bobby Labonte for the 7th spot. If you tuned in late, let us tell you that Bobby Labonte has now clinched the Busch Grand National title. The only driver who could have taken it from him was Kenny Wallace. Wallace started at the back, has struggled all day. Even if Labonte was to go out now, he would have the $100,000 bonus.
Earlier, we speculated that Father Bob, who runs the team, might let him loose a little bit in the later stage of the race, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I think they're just going to drive it home, pocket the money, and not finish up among the leaders, but he's a couple of laps down already, so there's really no sense of flogging that race car for really just a couple of meaningless positions.
Let's talk a little bit about the engines in these cars.